Hey everyone, welcome back for another shoutcast. And it's been a while, and it's always fun to do a new map when I come back after not doing shoutcast for a while, because it gives me plenty to talk about. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, and I'll speed it up nevertheless. This is a new map by Toe. I believe the name is called Vengeance Rising or something like that. I actually don't even have the map in my map folder. I'm just spectating. I don't know how that could possibly be either, because I thought you had to download the map to spectate, but maybe not. I don't know. But I looked through my folder to see the location numbers, and I couldn't find it. So I don't even think I have this map in my map folder, but either way, we'll look over it real quick. In the bottom right location, we have Toe playing with his usual handle true. His brother and ally to the north is Mr. Fu. And their enemies in the west, we have Daan and Weekend. Weekend is not playing with his usual gray color, so that will possibly throw you or myself off. But we'll quickly go through these locations real quick. We see, well, actually, we'll first look at the center of the map for a change of pace. We see, I hope the quality of the video isn't too bad as I zoom out, but you can see there's not a lot of, don't know if I should slow it down or not. I'll just talk maybe quickly. It's not easy to walk through the center at all. You can walk through here. I'll show you real quick with this. You can see you can walk for the most part over here, but you can see not a lot of bunch of room in the center of the map for walking. Lots of obstacles blocking movement. So it seems like a pretty campy map, as maneuvers are difficult, and couple that with the very high starting resources. You can see I did have, or you can see the very high starting resources. It's actually 60 timber and 90 stones at the start, and also very high food you can see, and the usual 60 gold. So very high starting resources and easy locations makes a very large army, and then couple that with a very small center and difficult movements, a lot of maneuvers, and I feel like if that's the case, it shouldn't be so easy to move soldiers to your ally, and it really isn't. So if the enemy has the center under control, they can usually decide which part of the map to move to, but I think the map just needs to be a little bit bigger, and the map would work a lot better just because of that reason. Larger maps tend to have a slightly more importance of holding on to the center, since you can kind of sweep to the other side of the map much faster through the center. But anyway, I digress. We'll look at the locations. Toe's location. Let's see, we had some trees down here that he went for real quickly, next to his gold mine. And a little bit of trees in the north. I think all these were just planted at the beginning, so I don't think there was very many trees here, except maybe these couple of stumps might have been trees at the beginning. You can see his first iron mine coming up pretty quickly, especially considering he has already 2 farms and his production is getting going, but only 2 woodcutters at the moment, which is not a huge problem, as the starting timber is really high here, but I think he's going to have some problems because he only has 1 sawmill, and this woodcutter isn't going to be cutting very long. This guy won't be cutting very long. He's probably going to delete this, actually, even, so I don't know. We'll try to keep an eye on that and see if that happens. And then here is Fu's location, which looks a little aggravating to play on. There's lots of trees down here, many infinite trees up here, but very difficult to get to. If I were him, I would make a road dedicated to capturing the trees up here. I might even make a farm up here if it fits. I don't think it does, but this would be an interesting place for a farm. But I would definitely go up for these trees, just because if I can get one woodcutter and a separate one up here, maybe, I think it would be worth the long road you'd have to make, instead of making this road down here even, maybe, that he made. It's well, it's kind of mandatory to take these trees as well, so I don't know. I would definitely have to have a decent plan. But other than that, I think he's doing the right idea, taking the gold here and then capturing the iron. And then he's going to go for a late gold mine up here. I think that's the right idea, even though it's kind of tempting maybe to build a road up through this. It's a really interesting looking location. I really like it. It looks like a single player location with all these walls. It's something I've never seen on a multiplayer map before, done quite like this. And I like this little touch here. It looks really nice. The little dock almost to get down to the water here. Very nice location. Actually, probably one of the best ones I've seen by Toe, just because lots of attention to detail, and it's interesting looking. It's not like Toe's maps are oftentimes just very pretty, and they have so many details, but it gets a little overwhelming. The repeated details over and over again, almost like what you call a Skyrim syndrome, where everything on the map looks super interesting, but it's all like the same over and over again. And unfortunately, I think Toe's maps are starting to drift into that trend. But here we see a very nice something breaking it up, and these these walls on the sides of the mountains and these weird passages inside the location, they're really interesting. I really like it a lot. In fact, it's for this location alone that I find this map very interesting. So I'd like to see more things like this. About a year ago, Toe told me that he just can't think of anything new that can be done in maps. He feels like most of it's already been done already. And that was shortly after Majestic Waters was released, I think, that he told me this. Because of Majestic Waters, if you know it, it has those interesting caverns with the water flowing into them, which is very... Dark Lord was the first to do that, and now I've seen some people mimic it. But you know, like, really interesting things that look good like that, a lot of them have been done already, and this is something I've never seen before, at least not in multiplayer. So it is interesting that even after a year or 2 years after Toe mentioned that, we continue to see new variations in maps, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds for map making, as that's something that just seems to surprise me again and again. But anyway, again, I digress. Rambling on. Weekend's location is probably the one with the best potential. This isn't Weekend. See, I told you it would fool me. Daan's location, probably the best on the map. We see a lot of coal here. This coal down here is in a weird spot, probably hard to take, but the gold is really close with a nicely iron nearby, next to the coal that you have to take early on anyway. Lots of space for trees, and I think there were a lot of starting trees here as well. Lots of open space down here for farms. It shouldn't be a difficult location. Lots of room, and everything is easily and readily accessible. So I think his location is probably the best. If I were to say there was a best location, I don't think he has fish. Oh, I guess he does up here, but it's almost doesn't even make almost no point in taking it, just because it's so out of the way and awkward. But I don't know. Maybe you could make a road up there, you know, after you're done building at 60 minutes or so, just to supplement your economy a little bit instead of making a vineyard. But again, really high starting resources here. You almost don't even need a fishing rod. Okay, and we'll look to see how the actual Weekend is doing. This location is... trying to find his first gold mine. Oh, it's right here. I was looking right at it. This is a funny spot. Funny thing. I don't think you can put a gold mine here. No, you can't. So the first gold mine is pretty far for this guy in comparison to the other locations. Iron is close, but in kind of an awkward spot. Not like this is super easy. It's almost just as far, but it's really easy to catch. You know, you're building your school on the way there, and then like Daan did, he put the sawmill on the way, so super easy to catch that iron mine, where this is kind of awkward and out of the way. And you can see that just kind of by how the buildings are leading up to it. He can't go straight to it so much. I don't know if there's a whole lot of fish in this lake. There's 2 separate lakes here. And it looks like he has about 60 fish. So plenty of fish, and that's probably what Toe was thinking. When it's not like Toe to overlook something as simple as, you know, it looks like, you know, this gold here isn't as nice, so I'm sure he gave him plenty of other bonuses. If I remember from the beginning, there are a lot of starting trees here, and I mean a lot. So you could go back to the beginning of the video, because I do recall looking over here real quick and maybe even count how many trees here, but there are plenty, maybe even 30, 40 trees, I think, from the start. So that's probably the biggest bonus, which is nice to have such a large amount of trees. If that's the case when there's so many trees like that, I would just put 2 woodcutters down here until all the trees are gone and they start planting, and then I'd put an extra couple woodcutters like he did. Fun fact, one woodcutter can keep up with a sawmill perfectly without any problems in efficiency if the woodcutter is cutting trees constantly and never waiting for a tree to grow or planting at all. And the only way for that to happen, of course, is if there's a very large forest at the beginning. Location 3 in Wilderness is an example. If you have a woodcutter in the right spot there, he'll never stop cutting for 30 minutes even. And he can keep up with a sawmill just by himself. So that's something to keep in mind. Your sawmills will run non-stop as long as they have one woodcutter cutting for each individual sawmill. Which is another reason why you don't go by how many woodcutters you have, but you go by how many woodcutters are cutting and how many will be cutting within the next 10 minutes. And that's a great way to think about how your wood production is going and how to adjust it if you are having troubles with keeping your timber efficient. How many sawmills you need depends on the size of the base, how many builders you have, and if you're making wooden shields and when you start your wooden weapon production. And that is a little bit more complicated and takes more time and practice to establish into your build. Okay, well, we'll speed it up to 10 times speed. Oh, we see Toe has 2 bakers already. 3 bakeries, actually. No swine farms, so he's going no leather. It's almost without doubt that, I mean, you have to play perfectly to keep up with a player going for a normal build if you go iron only. It's mostly just for fun. It really is only for fun, just for something different to go this kind of combination of an army, no leather. And I'm sure Toe's doing it for that specific reason, just for fun. Because there isn't really any tactical advantage you gain from it. And it is nice to see people do that every once in a while, just do something for the heck of it. This is the first time playing on this map, so I'm sure they're not too interested in something overly competitive. This is smart. When you only have bread, you really need 2 bakeries. Anytime you only have one source of food being produced is a good time to have. Did I say 2 bakeries? When you're going for bread only, you want 2 inns. Anytime you have only one source of food, whether it's fish in weird strategies where you're going crazy fish, or bread only, sausage only, it's very good to have 2 inns. And the peacetime is over. You want 2 inns just because you're only having 5 units of food inside your inn at a time, and obviously it'll get depleted very quickly. And we'll see how they did. Toe has quite a few horses. Lots of axes, but militia are almost nothing, really. They're a bit weak. And in a map like this, I dare say they're... I hate to say worthless. But most times they'll probably just get in your way and maybe even be worse than having nothing. Okay, well, armies aren't very big at all, despite the high resources and relatively simple locations. We see about 25 iron units here. A good amount of knights, though, so this is actually, Weekend's army here is good. Toe's army is, for going iron only, this is not very good. But plenty of horses. He does have many axes left. I suppose if we had a chunk of 30 militia, in the right position, that would make this army much nicer. But again, on a map like this, where there's not a lot of room for maneuvers, you can try to sneak some through, but again, because the map is so small, it's not hard for him to send a few knights to chase away the militia. Weekend missing a chance to scout the base there, as Fu gets some pikes in position to prevent a scout. Okay. Keep the speed accelerated while people are just pushing slowly and collecting their armies. Okay, we're gonna see a catch here, I think. Oh, maybe not. Okay, here we go. First catch of the game. This is a mistake. You get a big group of militia, and then you get them all caught on the same spot. You divide the militia up, try to get a few through. Toe will probably lose this battle. Even though it looks like he has many more soldiers, the additional range here, these bows are probably better than the crossbows, just because there's so many more of them. And yeah, there you go. See, Toe's army just can't hold. And see, here we have militia getting caught in a position like this. They don't do anything. This is exactly how you don't want to use militia, in an example of a map where you don't want to make militia. Crossbows, on the other hand, are really nice in a position like this, where you don't need a lot of melee to hold the line. Okay, Toe hasn't snuck anything through here yet. And neither has the other team. Oh, wait. Well, someone kind of got something through. Many towers, though, so this will give them a chance to hold on for a little while. And this is the nice... That's the best thing about Crossbowmen, is that they're able to one-shot knights like that. Dancing with militia, that's not going to cut it. Okay, we'll speed it up. Okay. Weekend's a little out of position here. Toe's gonna get some nice shots here with his crossbows, but his melee are just too far behind. Hesitate to even call this melee, it's just a bunch of militia. But Fu's color is pretty similar to Daan's here. And it appears, yeah, he's actually not doing well. I thought maybe he was winning, but actually, Toe ends up winning on the bottom here. For now. With these ranged here, it's gonna be tough though. See what happens. No serious reinforcements coming from Team Tofu. To does this all the time. Charges with his melee towards bows and just they don't even make it to him. Hafu's held on for now. See how long that lasts. Weekend really should bring... Yeah, okay, he's at least sending half of his soldiers to Fu. Actually, Fu's doing a good job keeping Weekend out of his base. Much better than I expect, which is... I don't mean that as an insult, I mean it as a compliment. He's doing rather well here. And in fact, doing exactly what he should be doing, splitting his army into small groups and trying to surround him as much as he can. And actually, Fu is pushing him back. To is here. And this charge is really silly. He should have tried to catch that militia, I think, with his knights. Maybe, I don't know, hard to say. A lot of bows there. So they did defend, Team Tofu. Here we see reinforcements coming from these guys. A decent amount of bows. Nothing from Daan. To continuing to make militia, which aren't really doing much, but it's something. We'll speed it up. And just general pushing. On bottom, I see here though, I see a To is sneaking into Weekend's base, so Weekend will probably send something. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or so militia. And actually, this is the one thing militia are good for, is getting in here and killing people. If one militia can kill one serf, carrying decent... See this, if this militia here could kill that serf with a horse, that'd be an awesome trade. But To's militia got caught, or he didn't see the opportunity. We'll check to see Weekend at only 49 serfs. About to go down even more. Which is pretty detrimental, considering he's already a little behind in recruit production. Slightly behind, not by a whole lot. But that's that makes a difference when you're 30 or so serfs behind where you should be. No, you don't need quite as many serfs when you are... you don't need quite as many serfs after you're done building, but nevertheless... you see he is, nonetheless he is making serfs. So he'll be a little behind in recruits. So that at least evens out the recruits To lost in the militia. And actually, To's doing more. I didn't even see that militia. I thought he got killed already. There you go, Daan losing some people as well. Anytime you're in your opponent's base like that, target serfs carrying the iron shields, the horses, etc. The pigs, the skins. Those are the serfs you want to target. The best place you could get a serf is if they have their iron production away from their barracks. See if I can find an example. No examples, but if you can get a serf near someone's iron production that isn't next to their barracks, which doesn't happen very often, that can be a very great place to put your militia to kill serfs. The reason getting near the barracks is risky is, of course, if you have a militia, then he's just gonna die when when they train something out of their barracks. And we see Toe's gonna go for it again. This time the towers are fully loaded again. I don't know if they were missing a recruit or something. I came in a little late last time. And he's waiting. This many militia will barely do any damage at all after they get through the towers, so probably a good idea to get a few more. And we can seize it already. Sending 3 knights away. This is not good. Going in like this. In fact, he's definitely gonna lose these. At least one knight here. Well, maybe not. Oh, there you go. There's the one knight that died. But you want to be careful and smart. Actually, yeah, he's gonna lose more knights. You want to be smart about the way you go in and fight, even militia, because when they get surrounded like this, the knights, the amount of extra damage dealt when you're attacking from the rear is huge. So 3 knights lose to 8 militia because Weekend did not go in there smart. He attacked in one straight line. Catch, but catch with brain, as Kochi says, catch with brain. You need to be smart about the way you engage anything. And there was no reason for Weekend to lose even a single knight there, and he lost them all because he did not engage correctly. So that alone was definitely worth the militia raid here for Toe's sake. We'll see if he gets more surf kills in here. He's not going to get very many, but... Again, Toe doesn't divide his militia up. That would be helpful here. Nah, he's going to get some kills anyway. Anyway, I'll speed it up.
Fire at will. Fire at will.
Toe has a massive push going on over here. It looks like a massive push, but it's just a bunch of militia. I remember Matt, an old guy used to play in TeamSpeak. He always called it shitstorm. Which is really what militia is. I don't think Toe's gonna win there. Oh yeah, no way. Toe's gonna need to bring his melee back. Don't chase after the range. Save your own. Keep one knight over here to keep these ranged away from shooting. Which he's not doing, but he's staying just out of their range. Well, just in their range, but it's okay. And he's sending some pikes over to keep them away. And actually, that's a very good job by Toe. Actually, he did that very well, almost perfect. Splitting his troops like that and protecting his crossbowmen for the most part. He could have played it out a little bit better without getting so many of his crossbowmen shot, but he did a very good job. In the meantime, these militia are doing nothing. if they engage, they probably wouldn't be doing much more. Because again, in a tight spot like this, they're not really going to make a difference. So Toe's base, or Fu's base is being overrun. Weekend's base is being attacked here, but the amount of soldiers Toe has here is much less. And yeah, with these soldiers coming in, and these guys just getting shot apart, it's all but over, as Toe's not going to be able to do any significant damage to Weekend here. Whereas Fu is completely obliterated, so the game is over. And we see the only time militia shine is in the troops equipped stat. But then you see this Weekend's kill death is huge, the difference here. Just absolutely. Yeah, and it's because of militia. And that makes nobody happy because militia just mess up stats in every way possible. Let's see, I didn't even notice it, but we had 2 players that didn't make any leather. Toe and Fu. Oh, Fu didn't make any leather either. I didn't even notice that. That's silly of me. So not a single leather jacket made by Team Tofu, which is crazy. The only time I see the entire team not go leather with, the only time I see a whole team go iron only is when it's 1 versus 1. So that's interesting. I didn't even notice. Yeah, I'm sure you guys did, but I totally didn't catch that. Interesting how long the game was, despite Team Tofu making absolutely no leather at all. Perhaps we need to look a little bit more into that strategy. It's a lot of fun to play, though. It's interesting doing something completely new and different. Anyway, thanks for joining me for another shoutcast, and I hope you have a good day.